welcome to episode 1 of the Working Title Podcast.
I see.
Something that...
Oh no, we're a podcast now.
Yes.
We are.
Oh, I'm not part of another podcast.
Yes,
God damn it.
you are now. I essentially...
I keep ending up accidentally in podcasts.
I wanted
Not like
to...
the lamest curse ever.
Yeah, that is an awful curse. I essentially
I'm cursed to always end up in podcast.
I wanted to still stream this because it's potentially useful to people. And I wanted an excuse to use that name for something. Because working title is the best. So I just want to let people know. But you're still allowed to talk about Fatal.
Are we allowed to talk about Fatal? Because I've just got to the temperament weaknesses, and it's just
I
like...
think it depends on what we're talking about when it comes to Fatal. Oh, that's a good idea, though. I can continue making my character, my 5 and 7.
I'm not bothering with my
5.75-year-old
abilities. I got the abilities, and it's like a bunch of like random math to try and make your abilities. I'm like, fuck it.
Random math?
This is too much work. I do too much math at work. I'm not doing it here. Go fuck yourself, Fatal.
What an awful attitude. You should be excited to do more math.
But there are a bunch of. I mean, there's a list of RPGs that I have here that are pretty good. There's the Buffy TTRPG.
I've
Call of
heard
Cthulhu.
interesting
Call
things
of
about
Cthulhu,
Buffy.
I've heard good things about it. Oh, okay.
I
I heard good things
K-Buzz.
about Call of Cthulhu.
I agree with that though,
I-
Christian.
What?
The Call of Cthulhu. I've heard
Dark
very good things
Heresy,
as well.
Which is like,
I've played Dark Heresy before.
I've got.
Ah.
I think I might have the Star Wars one somewhere.
I
Edge
can't
of the
remember
Empire?
what
I
one
do
it
have.
is.
I do
I
have a
think
Google
so,
Drive
yeah.
file for some of the other ones.
Have any of you seen the? I've played the Warhammer role playing game. If you've ever the Warhammer Fantasy
I
one,
didn't know there was one.
Never played that.
Yeah, it's
Oh, yeah.
it's called Dark Heresy.
and then
It's-
I've also played the Rogue Trader, the Warhammer 40k role playing game, where you are the crew of a ship, and sort of you all take on different positions in the Rogue Trader ship. So someone's the captain, someone's in charge of the sort of ship's defenses. Someone plays the navigator and all this sort of stuff. So you would just assign yourself all roles, and depending on your role in the ship, you get different actions, and it's you're trying to carry out either, depending on your choices, either like legitimate missions within the Empire and stuff happens, or you're trying to like smuggle illegal goods places, and it was pretty fun when I played it. But I did play the navigator, so I did get to like create psychic flamethrowers to kill people that got in our way.
There's also Edge of the Empire, which is the Star Wars one, and also Powered by the Apocalypse.
I also heard good things about Powered by the Apocalypse.
I talk Necropolis. Necropolis.
And then there's the superhero one, which I forget the name of at the moment.
What, the mutants and
Yeah,
thingy
mutant.
book? The
Yeah,
one that
that's-
Owen mentioned. The mutants and something.
Yeah, mutants and masterminds. It's a pretty fun system.
yeah.
I also have a digital PDF of digital PDF. That's a bit silly. Of the Dresden Files role-playing game, but I don't think that anybody is probably interested in that. I also don't know how it is. I just
I
have
have
the
never
PDF
read the
Yeah.
Dresden Files.
I have PDFs like Google Drive links to a bunch of those RPGs that I just mentioned.
I have I have a physical copy of the Game of Thrones RPG.
There's a
Which-
Game of Thrones RPG. Well, it shouldn't be.
Yeah,
surprising.
Apparently
very-
it's complicated.
It's very thick. It has, you basically play as like a house, and you're all members of that house trying to advance your house's sort of agenda in Westeros.
Okay.
Okay, nobody play.
Having not
Nobody
seen
play
Game of Thrones.
Bulgarian.
What
Yeah,
do I
makes
roll
so
for
much sense to me.
incest?
That would be a charisma check, and then
Job,
a
that's
taboo
a
check.
free, good news. That's a free action.
Also, you have to have the skill for incest taken in your skill tree.
I've obviously got that. Don't be stupid.
So like it's one of those where it's complicated because it's things
Wait.
like there are just so many different skills you can take, including 3 different skills.
So,
that you have
if
to
we
both be able
want
to
to,
fight
we can,
combat
like-
and
So I'm
on a
hearing-
horse.
Wait, so we can max out incest and basically play as the Habsburgs in the Game of Thrones world.
But
You
if
mean
we're all part of the same house, does that not mean we have to like just fuck each other?
Yes.
if that is the kind of role playing game, guys, you want to play, I do not think I could run that.
I do
No.
not consent to this.
Now it's
I
interesting.
think I would be too embarrassed to run that.
You
game.
you said too embarrassed to run.
Sure, I'm just going with that. I'm the one with the starter rulebook who's played this game before. I would assume that I'm the one that has to run it. That's usually how that works.
Yeah, the only other RPG I've played, I think a sufficient enough amount to have even a slight chance of running it, is sort of Vampire the Masquerade.
I mean,
Yeah,
I would like to play Vampire
O-
at some point
okay,
because it sounds fun.
Yous have talked about that
But the
fair bit.
rulebook is
Ye-
badly written.
The rules are very badly written, and a lot of it is just thematic.
Yeah.
So my question was, has somebody online just done a breakdown where it just gives you the rules? Because I know for the Digimon card game, the original rulebook they released didn't make any sense, so people combed through it and turned it into flowcharts so that people could actually follow it.
There's
That
some
the
okay
that Bandai then went, actually that's the new rulebook. They just took the fan made rulebook that streamlined their shit
the,
and just were like, this is official now.
there are some like
I think there's some
there
stuff
are
for
some YouTubers who've sort of broken it down quite well on some videos, but
Also, it's not that bad. It's
It-
just that a lot of the
yeah.
rules are encapsulated in fluff,
yeah,
Well,
that
which
is
then makes it hard to like. Sometimes, if you look for something very specific, it's sometimes hard to filter out what you're actually looking for.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I tried to rule the rulebook once, and I couldn't figure out which parts of the rulebook were rules.
Also, a lot of it is based on like the World of Darkness's lore and stuff. I guess you could make your own world. Is a way of solving that.
I
Yeah,
don't
you
think
can,
it
you
matters
can
too
ignore
much,
all
right?
the other things. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Because all I've heard is that you should set your vampire game in the city you live in, so that it's easier
Yeah.
for everyone to actually work out where they are.
That's true. Because it's sort of based in real life and stuff, but like vampires are everywhere.
yeah.
But no one knows.
And normally you don't have a big problem with the other World of Darkness ones because werewolves, for example, they don't just keep away from cities, so normally the vampires and the werewolves don't really clash that much.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there
And
there
stuff
are
like that.
like other weird things out there, but again,
They're-
they don't meet each other very often. The vampires. tend to be
Short,
fine.
short throw in between. I just went back to the page I was on in Fatal, and I found I saw the BMI modifiers thingy,
Mm-hmm.
and the table basically says the more underweight a woman is, the better.
Hey, all I know is that
No
I
matter
got.
how far going down it goes.
Oh, that's
All I know,
bad.
all I know is I got my kobold got plus 17 attractiveness for randomly rolling D-cup breasts.
What a lovely kobold.
So moving away from
Yeah,
Fatal.
So yeah, I
Sorry.
think
I just saw
I
that.
think it's fair that what we do is in every conversation, someone interjects one fatal thing and then we change the subject. That sounds good to me.
Huh.
Moving like as far
Hmm.
away from Fatal as humanly
Can I-
possible.
Okay,
Can I
then.
put-
yeah,
Sorry, can I
put
put
forward.
I was reading a list of like RPGs that were interesting, and there was one that stood out, which is called Blades in the Dark.
That sounds
I've heard
familiar.
of
Like
that
a-
one.
So it's like the way to describe it is Ocean's 11 in in a steampunk world. So it's an episodic thing where you're playing missions as a group of thieves,
Ooh,
and it can be something from like get this item from this rich person to like rob a bank.
and is
and
it
the
like you
whole
all have roles in the heist?
Well, yes, but you
Oh,
don't
cool.
you don't plan before the heist. You start the heist, and every time something comes up, you as a party do a flashback to your planning scene
Oh,
to work
cool.
out how
Oh,
you
that's
planned for
cool.
this thing.
Oh, is-
And then as the person running the game, you have to like you're like, okay, because you've planned this way, you get these benefits.
Oh, that sounds fun.
isn't that the one
Oh,
where
we've basically
you have a
done
time
that within
limit?
a vampire game.
Haven't seen anything about time limit, but I just think it's quite funny. It reads quite interesting.
I'm sorry, what did you say that I talked over Christian?
I just said like we basically played that in a vampire game without noticing it because we did basically a heist, heist, multiple shot. It wasn't a one shot, but within the vampire thing, and then we basically had that with the flashbacks. And like we prepared for this way.
Yes, it's so interesting because it's basically one of those. If you complete the job without getting locked up, you get new skills and gain abilities to then go and take more ambitious jobs. And sort of you use those skills in your like flashback scene, like in conjunction with the stuff you can plan in your flashbacks to try and get through more and more difficult missions.
It sounds interesting, but I personally would not be interested in having like a whole campaign just with heists.
No, it sounds more to me like it's a fun thing to run every so often. Like
Yeah.
it seems like. I was reading it and it sounded really interesting, so I thought I'd put it forward as something to think about.
No.
I have seen good things about the Mutants and Mastermind system.
Basically, the idea is it allows you to make like whatever superpower you can imagine, and then you basically like spend points in areas to get it. It's pretty interesting. I've used it multiple times. I'm actually in a game right now with a friend of mine. It is really fun.
Okay.
I'm
Sorry.
just looking at the quick start PDF just to see what it reads like.
There's also apparently a Shakespeare RPG.
Ooh.
I have OVA, the anime RPG, where you in the RPG recreate different genres of anime show as a
God.
collaborative thing.
God, I just thought of the most chaotic thing possible to do.
Everybody builds a character in a different.
RPG.
That's kind of close. So instead of everyone builds a character for a different thing, every single
Every session is a
episode is a
different
new
RPG.
campaign. No,
Yeah.
not a new campaign, a new game.
Oh no.
But it's a consistent
It's a
story.
different
Try to transfer characters.
The
Yes.
story is the same. It's just the campaign. The world changes all.
Oh god, I can't wait for episode 69. You know what's gonna be for episode 69?
Fatal?
Yes! God, it'll take so long to get to it.
I've rolled for my character's physical attractiveness, and they make you orgasm whenever you look at them. Go fuck yourself, literally.
Now, it's a catch-22 if two people with that level of attractiveness see each other.
Oh god, the feedback look.
It's a feedback loop that they can never escape from.
How would anybody actually like reproduce in that world? Because as soon as you see an attractive person, like, oh, so okay, I'm done.
I think that's meant
No,
to be a
it's-
special thing.
It's if you happen to roll attractive enough that you're like almost perfection. It's like
I
the
know.
one below you're basically a god. You look like like a god. It's like no, the level
saying
before
though,
that is
like-
just uncontrollable orgasms. Whatever they
I'm
go.
saying though, like that person would probably never get to have sex because they wouldn't even like be able to do anything
You just
before
have
the
to
other.
blindfold your partner, right?
Okay,
So they don't see you.
and
Exactly.
then
You always
remove,
wear a bag over your head.
and then remove the
Cardboard box.
blindfold. And then the moment you're both about to go, you remove the blindfold, and they see you, and that's when it's like, oh, just Jesus Christ.
That man's always
I
worn
love
a
it.
bag. I wonder how ugly he must be.
We could always just like not do fatal in any way.
Lawrence,
Fuck, why
what
did you
is
suggest not
awful
doing this
suggestion?
hilarious thing?
It's not like I'm a somewhat decent human with some sort of moral standard.
That's
or,
definitely not true.
Standing or something. I mean, given half the crap I've done in D&D sessions, obviously not. But
I think you're a more upstanding person than you'd like us all to know.
You just like to occasionally fuck a dragon. Which is, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Or watch a ship fuck a dragon.
hey,
Wait, no,
just
dragon
because
fuck
I
a
know
ship.
the just because I know the square root of 69 doesn't mean I'm a good or bad person.
What is the
But, you know-
what is the square root of 69?
It's like 8.303 or something like that. and the cube root is 4.101. God knows why I know that, but
These seem like important things to know.
here we are.
I'm sure that one day that'll come up in a pub quiz, and everyone will be really confused as to why, but Lawrence will have his moment.
That's because Lawrence wrote the pub quiz.
That seems a one-sided thing to take part in.
God knows why I would be. God help anybody if I write a pub quiz.
The pub quiz is like, Lawrence once played a character who had these abilities and looked like this. Can you give us their name? And everyone is like,
Lord Buckethead.
oh god.
No, that's. I can
That's
at
not
least
his
make.
name.
I
though.
know.
Yeah, but I can narrow that down to a 1 in 26 chance. Because it's whatever his current character's name is, but like one of the letters has just moved along.
Is it John Wick? Is it John Wick? Is it Rhiannon Keeves? Which Spiffing Brit video was he watching last week?
What topic of the week in Lawrence's brain?
Yeah, it's fun times.
Does anyone even remember what Lawrence's first character in my game's called?
Your game.
I don't even think.
Yes, Just Insider,
Yes.
right?
My god,
Which
he
is-
actually remembered.
Which is also a Spiffing Brit reference.
And his wife is Amaya Cider. Which Lawrence is the
Well
person
done.
who asks the question of the most.
Yeah,
it's
well,
like, oh, what's my first character's wife's name? And we're like, how the fuck do you not remember this?
because I'm shite with names and I'm shite at D&D, so
Fair.
This is first character in discount.
So,
What was Lawrence's?
Has anyone
Car-
played Cyberpunk, by the way?
I think you told me once that it was similar to Shadowrun. That's all I know about it.
Sure.
I do like the world of Cyberpunk.
I like the world of
I think it's
Cyberpunk.
good.
I haven't played it.
I haven't played it either.
It's one of those where it looks interesting, and I've seen a bunch about it, but I don't know if it's another one that's complicated. It's complicated, but it's all unlike Shadowrun. We don't have a Christian who's at least played some edition of it before.
The most complicated thing about Shadowrun is the character creation.
Yeah, I have been doing a lot of trying to create characters in Shadowrun and going, I have this incredibly bland character who could sneak into places and then has no skills to actually do anything once they're there.
But you can get there.
But the rest of the team is for it.
I mean, that's the thing with like new RPGs and stuff. Like we've either played things, some of us have played things to a certain degree, or we haven't really played it at all, or just vaguely heard about it.
Yeah, if you ever want to try playing something else, it's almost like just pick it and then we all have to try and learn it together as a group. Which is kind of how I played D&D. When I first did D&D, I played with 4 other people who had never played D&D before. So that was the way that ended up going. And then this has come out of that. I met all of you.
And
Yeah.
by
And
trying-
we're all worse off from knowing me, probably.
I was really wondering
Oh, I
which
thought you
way
were gonna
that
make
was
fun of me
going.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that Lawrence ever insults other people. It just really sounded like it was going that way.
It was right there, and then he turned it on himself, and I'm like, oh no, don't do that to yourself, Lawrence.
But it's so much fun to take the piss out of myself.
I mean, me and Joseph have some experience in Pathfinder.
Yeah.
I
If you
mean,
want us
that
to try-
Pathfinder would be the easiest transition.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
because
I mean,
it
it's
was
most
D&D.
similar to D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's most similar to D&D. I've played it. I've been in 3 or 4 Pathfinder games.
I mean, I've been in Pathfinder games as well, not 2 either.
Yeah, we played
Sure.
1E because everyone apparently hates 2E.
I mean, all I had heard from other people was good things about 2E. So
People apparently didn't like it because, according to them, it was more broken than Pathfinder,
Which
was
was
apparently
shocking.
also broken.
Pathfinder is so broken.
Given the group that I know you were playing with, that sounds like total bullshit, given that they were breaking the Pathfinder system anyway.
I instantly found a way to have infinite money
Yeah, I mean,
with my favorite item as well.
The system is inherently quite broken.
Oh, that could have been an interesting campaign if it had happened.
Yeah, if it just didn't stop.
It didn't. It was just
did you guys just? Is that the one that you guys just like left?
yeah. We left and then
Oh,
made
'cause it
the
just- yeah.
Starfinder instead. Essentially,
Yeah.
the Spelljammer.
Christian, can you talk a second? You're coming through really weird.
Was that the one with Luke?
No,
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
no, that was
No.
we did play with
Oh
him
no,
in
that's
that.
one when you were doing D early edition. Yeah. Okay.
What was Luke's
yeah,
first
the thing was,
edition, but 5th edition rules?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
So Luke joined us for 5th edition, then you started playing a first edition or second edition thing with him, like an older edition,
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, I think
He's
that
not
was
in-
which
not in
Andrew
that
got kicked
campaign
out of.
anymore.
No one likes
Would you get kicked
Andrew.
out of Andrew for pointing out the guy that kept cheating?
Oh yeah, they both got kicked out of that, but that was a 5th edition campaign.
Yeah,
Oh,
was it?
sorry.
it was 5th edition
It was set in
in
5e.
in a 2nd or 1st edition
Maybe.
dungeon campaign thing.
Yeah.
Who is this? Sorry.
That campaign, I'm gonna be honest, exploded about 2 sessions after that happened.
Yeah.
Everyone just sort of disbanded.
Was that
The
after you were fighting sharks?
Owen,
Yeah.
Pretty much.
do you remember the guy who played a bird person ranger that was here for a while?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were in a game where that guy was DMing, and Andrew got kicked out of the group for pointing out that guy kept cheating.
Essentially,
How were they cheating?
I clashed quite a bit with that person because they kept doing certain things that were not within the rules. Like,
Always thought it was cheating.
yeah. Well, I was about to
Don't
say an
forget, like-
example, but that doesn't help Owen because it's from the Friday game. But
One of the things they did was they got a giant slab iron door, and they tried to make like, what was it, 10 or 11 suits of plate mail out of it
yeah,
in the space of like 2 days or something.
I don't think it was even 2
Yeah.
days. They also became a werewolf
Yeah.
off camera.
Was this Matthew?
Mhm.
Sounds about right.
I still don't know to this day if it was him just not understanding things or actively choosing to do those things.
Oh no, he understands the rules.
But the example I was going to use, which you can always look up later what it does, which is the Hat of Wizardry, which someone in the Friday game uses. It's basically you make a roll, and if you succeed on the roll, you can then cast a cantrip, which he interpreted as you can just have every single cantrip anytime you want. I think he also used it.
Also, you can only do it once per long rest.
Yeah,
Or short rest.
but just constantly doing it. I still take my victory that I defrosted that dinosaur and made friends with him.
True, and that hamster is still out there.
Yeah. Also, just that was one of the lovely moments of, hey, who's this big flamey guy? Oh fuck, that's Asmodeus.
Yeah, they just randomly had Asmodeus in the campaign for
That was actually
Seemingly,
within the original thing. Asmodeus was the one who turns up. It's like, what?
yeah.
I've never just
It-
randomly thrown Asmodeus at you guys for no reason as a random antagonist. No, never, not once.
I mean, it's Like-
Actually, how many of us haven't thrown? How many DMs here haven't thrown Asmodeus at the party at some point?
I
As
tell-
from antagonists.
But I've also had limited DM experience, so
Sure,
I just haven't
fair.
gotten to that level of. Yeah.
They can handle just a couple of Asmodeus devils being very angry at them, you know.
I never threw him like at you as a combat encounter, just as a, you know,
Antagonistic force.
Villain trying to
regular
kill us.
antagonist.
Yeah,
I've turned one of you into Asmodeus before.
you did do that, yeah.
So I less threw him at you, but metamorphosized you into him, kind of.
True, you did do that.
Also,
it was achieved by you.
There's a thought. Technically, for a small period of time, my campaign ended up just as bad, if not worse, than Lawrence's one, in terms of what happened.
That's true.
Oh yeah, I forgot you were there for that one, weren't you? What were you?
I wasn't
No.
officially. I was meant to
You
be.
spoke to him about it. Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
everything went insane at the last minute, and your world exploded. Or something like that.
It didn't. I think reality began to collapse on itself, and everyone abandoned ship.
Yeah.
It's fine. God said, actually, I like reality. I'm giving you one more chance. Don't use epic magic, please.
But yes. So, do we have any form of consensus? What are people's like most anticipated systems that they've mentioned thus far?
I mean, I'm probably most familiar with the Pathfinder games personally,
You're,
outside of D&D.
you're on Pathfinder. Owen, what about you?
I used to be familiar with Pathfinder, but now I've it's been like years since I played it, so I'd have to relearn it.
There is
What are
basis.
you most interested in? I think it was the question more
Yeah,
than
what are you
what are
most
you.
interested in?
Probably Pathfinder or Mutants and Masterminds, because the others I'm not like super familiar with, or the one Graham mentioned about the heist for an occasional thing to do.
I'm very interested in the Star Wars system, the Edge of the Empire, and
Oh,
the,
yeah, that.
and the Mutants and Mastermind system. Those are the sort of two that stand out to me the most. What about you, Graham?
For me, I'm most interested in trying to play like Shadowrun or Vampire at some point.
Mm.
But like I don't like I'm willing to play whatever the group wants to play, but I would like to try and play some Shadowrun because it looks really fun or interesting in a different way than everything else we've played. And I agree with Owen, like it might be worth, like I might look into getting the one I talked about to just see if it'd be worth running like once or twice a year as like a fun side thing.
Christian, how about yourself?
Mixed. Like obviously for like something more long-standing, I feel more comfortable with stuff that I kind of know. So, I would like to have a fantasy-based one. So Pathfinder seems good to me. But I would also be curious to have a look into Shadowrun again.
Also, to be fair,
Superheroes also sounds interesting. I'm open for anything basically, as long as it's not
fatal.
bad, weird, like Fatal.
So
Yeah.
long as it's not fatal, right? So the bar is on the floor then. Got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Andrew, what about yourself?
What I was about to say was, to be fair with the way that kind of both me and Joseph DM, it kind of also doesn't matter what system we play. Because
Yeah.
the rules
True.
kind of come secondary because we're much more heavily story focused.
Oh,
I mean,
I
then
feel thrown
vampire is
under the
very
bus
good
there.
for you.
Okay, I was saying that because we're currently. Yours was also very
I know.
story
I'm,
focused.
it's fine. I was making a joke. Don't worry.
But like, we could very easily continue or make a new campaign with literally just. I can't remember what the system's called, but the very simplistic one where it's just a D20. It's not as complicated,
Oh,
but it's essentially just like
yeah.
rolling to see how you do. We could very easily continue with that, but I mean, I kind of feel the same way as Christian, that I'm not honestly bothered about what systems. The only one that I have never played that I want to is Call of Cthulhu, but that doesn't really work in
Yeah.
this context. And I mean, it's not like this D&D or anything is going away, but it's not nice to talk about the different options that are there. There was also just a statement released, which is another non-statement.
What is this the one by Chris? Is this by Critical Role?
No,
Yeah.
this is from the executive producer of D&D. Where
Oh,
it's a long thing, but it basically says the old OGL isn't going away, maybe, and on Friday-ish, on or before Friday the 20th, we'll be sharing the new proposed OGL document for feedback. So essentially,
essentially what they said before.
yeah. The only thing is it's backpedaled a little bit by being like there's hints that they've removed the OGL 1.0 no longer exists, which that's a positive.
It sounds like
And all they have to do is follow through on that statement.
all they have to do is just go back to the way things were.
not fuck it up.
Yeah.
And even then, things are going to be a bit odd.
Oh. That is for me the best part of all of this, of that.
But that things are still going to be a bit odd.
Well, no, that just how badly they fucked up, and that if they'd done nothing, they'd be in a much better place. But gotta monetize. Speaking of monetize, especially since Lawrence is here, it's a good one to ask. Have you seen the thing where they released how much the monthly subscriptions were going to be for D&D Beyond?
Fuck's it. Yes, it's like 30 quid, like a month,
Yeah,
which is ridiculous.
for
Like,
insert something here because we're just not really talking about anything. Although I'm very intrigued by the AI Dungeon Master. Very intrigued by
Yeah,
what the fuck that
the-
even means.
essentially, it's going to be like one of these like chatbot things that they will insert all of their like official campaigns into. From what I've heard,
So it's like the game
and
AI dungeon, which already exists.
Yes, but
essentially,
has D&D terms.
yeah.
Honestly, I would probably...
Honestly, you could genuinely play AI Dungeon as just a D&D game if you wanted them to be the GM, I guess.
True. I would definitely pay for 1 month subscription and do a one-off with an AI DM, just because.
I mean, like, it's. I mean, the whole 30 quid subscription thing is like a bit like. I mean, given the context, it's quite bad.
Yeah.
But like, the apparently, from what I've heard, are going to like be giving like people things every month to go along with it.
Mm-hmm.
God knows what that is.
I mean, so far the only precedent that they've set is those fucking special dice that you can roll in the D&D Beyond roller thing.
Yeah. I mean, like, I won't be getting it. I won't be doing the 30 quid subscription thing.
I imagine.
I mean, I've already cancelled my like unlimited subscription thing my subscription thing that essentially
Yeah.
that I had on D&D Beyond. But
I imagine the price is going to go down to try and entice people. And oh no, 30 was just a number that we had as a placeholder.
yeah,
Anyone actually shown like a like any sort of actual sources for that, or is it just still?
Well,
Trust me, I have sources.
that's kind of the sources for all of this, because most of the sources for all of this is people who work for Wizards of the Coast who are upset. So
Sure.
if anyone knew the sources, they would be in a lot of trouble. Which
Fair,
apparently
that
Wizards are trying to clamp down and find who's leaking this information. I can't say why.
that does make sense. The thing to do.
They're getting so much feedback. Do you not remember the statement they released? We didn't lose, we all won. Now, who leaked the information so I can thank them?
Yeah, it's the tweet about like, oh, which store was this in, so that we can go and check that this animal that was in the store is okay. And it's like, you're not getting me this time. I'm not rotting out my buddy.
Now, if you were to just give me a random country that you happen to be in,
You can avoid that sort of situation by using NordVPN. Not sponsored.
hashtag Nord money.
Please.
I very happily advertise. Okay, I'll happily advertise anything that isn't Raid Shadow Legends. Because I don't think that I could do a straight ad read for it. I would end up being sarcastic.
I think if you were offered money to put a Raid Shadow Legends sponsored into a video, you would 100% do it.
But how much money? Instantly turn it around. Okay, how much though?
The amount that Mr. Beast got paid for his first sponsorship deal, which is $10,000.
Oh yeah.
Like, see what I mean? Like, there's no way. Like, I understand you're trying to be principled, but that's not how this works. Make your money.
Money good. To be fair,
We live in a society.
yeah, it's like if they're like, he has a small amount of money. No, if they're like, he has a big amount of money, I would tell you all to shut the fuck up. I'll give you some money each. Money.
Yes. So what you're saying is you've got to start a channel that's just ad reads.
God, that would be so successful and so shit.
It's like an hour-long video of you just reading off different adverts, incredibly high energy.
But yeah, to bring this back onto the initial topic, for some reason.
Fatal.
So, no, the other initial topic.
I mean, people were saying like Shadowrun and Mutants and Masterminds the most commonly.
But outside of Pathfinder.
Outside of
Pathfinder
as well, yeah. Pathfinder, Mutants, Masterminds, and Shadowrun were favoured heavily.
So,
Sure.
can someone
So,
explain Shadowrun to me? Because it's the only one I don't think I'm familiar with.
So think about Cyberpunk. But do you mean mechanically or setting-wise?
Kind of both. I only know of it.
Okay, so setting-wise is similar to Cyberpunk. So you're in the relatively near future. Corporations rule everything. And you have basically everything that Cyberpunk has, but also magic.
Ooh.
So like fairies and trolls stuff also exist.
Yeah, and the races, for example, like the different races, didn't just like reappear. They basically appeared as human variations and mutations.
Hmm.
So, at some point, magic reappeared. I forgot why, but magic reappeared, and I think it was called the Second Awakening or something like that. I don't really remember. And then from that point, some people I think directly mutated, and some people were just then born to like a troll, for example, was just born to normal human parents, and stuff like that. And I think some of the corporations belong to dragons, unsurprisingly.
I feel like I've been told that before because I feel like one of you was like, "You'll like this, Andrew. Why? Dragons."
Yeah, I think that was me. And what you do can be anything from heists to. It depends a bit on what you're playing. You can play as criminals. You can play as corporate people. Can play as random freelancers that just do whatever they are asked to do.
Oh my god, the awakening occurred in 2011.
Dun dun dun.
Oh no.
Wait.
Oh yeah, didn't it? No.
Did something happen that year?
I don't remember magic appearing in 2011.
No,
But maybe
never-
I'm
That
just
doesn't
living
mean it
under a
didn't
rock.
happen.
What happened in
That's not what I
2011? I mean 9/11.
Big things that happened in 2011.
There's bit-
I mean,
big-
I mean,
9/11 was
it
10
was
years
pro-
before that.
Yeah.
the UK was prepared for.
I know because I wasn't alive at the
the
time.
next year.
That's depressing.
Fucking hell, I was in high school.
Yeah, me too.
I know exactly when 9/11 was because I wasn't alive when it happened.
Ah, okay. This is what you were talking about. What happened in 2011 in the UK? The England cricket team won the Ashes. That was obviously.
That's magic.
Yeah, that was magic.
The return of magic into the world is sure, but yeah, so the way the reading up the mechanics recently, so you have like levels of a skill, and your level of a skill is about how many d6s you roll when you try and do that skill.
I think they add the attribute to it as well, so you would not. I think you would
There's
roll.
two different things. It's like you roll a certain number of dice and then it does something else. But like fives
Yeah.
and sixes are successes and ones are fails.
Yeah,
So it's
And
like
I mean,
and you have to have a certain amount of net successes, I think.
I- this whole impact section of like the reawakening. It's not too far from the truth. And epidemics and famines would ravage the face of the earth.
But what happened in the
fair,
game?
fair.
Also turmoil, panic, and chaos.
So
Uh,
what happened in the game?
Interesting. Interesting tidbit is that also the vampirism is a virus, and depending on what race gets infected, different things come out. So if it's a human, it's just box standard vampire, I think. If it's a elf, it becomes a banshee.
Ooh, that's
Um,
interesting.
I think orcs become ghouls or something like that.
So
Um,
very parallel history in some way.
I'm closing the Fatal PDF.
and also
Why didn't you do that
Um,
earlier?
you play basically on 3 different planes of existence in a way. Like you play either in the normal world, or you play in the cyber world, or
The
in the
digitally world.
ethereal plane, which has an overlap with the mortal one.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, you could be like you can
You
be
live
like a
on Earth?
technomancer, or like a get person with guns, or you can be like a shaman and have access to like spiritual magic powers.
Ooh.
We could play the My Little Pony RPG.
I mean, I've heard people
I'm
That's
gonna
like
ignore that and
mention that.
continue back to.
No, unfortunately, I don't know the deep lore, so I can't.
I would also vote against the My Little Pony.
Well, it
RPG.
all started a long time. No.
You have two choices: My Little Pony or Fatal,
Oh God.
Oh
or
God.
Fatal.
or both.
My commitment to the law is such that I will play neither. Thank you.
Fatal or My Little Pony?
But can I? So like one of my favorite things reading the Shadowrun rulebook is that there are rules for like so all the like different races have developed different cultures based on things they can do, and one of the skills you can take is to become a poser of a race where you start taking on their characteristics to like try and look cool.
Okay.
So you're like, oh, my character's an elf poser, so they've like tried to like make their ears pointy and do all this stuff, which means you get like bonuses for doing things that would typically be from that, like a benefit. You get some of the benefits of being that race that in the game, but all people from that race look at you like an asshole.
Yeah,
Like you
I
have
was
negative charisma with anyone who's from.
I was thinking it
They're
might be
like, what
like
the
that.
fuck is wrong with you?
Look, I bought myself some of the clip-ons you can use to make yourself look like an elf. Look at my lovely elf ears. Like, God.
Oh, I want to be an orc, so I've got myself like big thick boots to make myself look taller, and then I've got like a big jacket with stuff under it to make myself look bulkier, and all the orcs are like fucking human, pretend like wanting to be an orc. What the fuck's
No,
wrong with this way?
even better. It's an orc who really wants to be a human.
Well,
Things like
I
that
know
become a
somebody
lot sadder,
who
though.
played Shadowrun. Well, I know
Okay.
someone who played an orc who wanted to be an elf, and so he's this like 350 pound, like 7 foot tall, orc who's like trying to be this dexterous elf the entire time.
I just want to be a regular old human, do my taxes.
What was the
Says the troll.
in-game D&D thing called that we had?
Brownie's eating tie in the corner.
In-game D&D thing.
As in one of the
The
sessions
shark
where,
people played.
Accounts and
well,
Oh,
actuaries.
sure.
Yeah.
Which I stole from
I think
Dragon High.
I think it
No.
I think it did change name about
Oh,
name
yeah.
about 5 or 6 times because we kept calling it a different
Probably.
name every time we
Yeah.
talked about it.
But it was like banks and businesses at one point.
Like,
yeah.
I stole the original concept from the Dragon Friends podcast, but it was fun to just give it a different name every time. It's a really weird system that is canon in our world that doesn't have an official name, but the name changes every time you play it.
We could play chess and make up backstories for every piece that gets taken off the
That-
board.
That's true. I can't wait to play chess against you.
Okay, no, you're
Sorry,
you're
I'm
definitely
just-
DMing
I would
that.
Oh, I am, am I?
I'm just reading the like
Oh.
some of the backstory stuff for Shadowrun, and it's like they have their own like human rights groups, but it's like the Orcs Rights Commission or the ORC, who not only use non-violent means but also violent means to try and organize to stop orc exploitation in popular culture.
Amazing.
It's just like
Wait, guys, isn't there a Discworld RPG?
probably.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I mean, if you look for it, there's an RPG of everything because there's a Wheel of Time RPG as well that I like looked at one point, but it's basically was made with 2E D&D, so it's like
Prepare for Thaco.
It's a
Ugh.
GURPS.
No,
system.
not Thaco.
Everyone loves Thaco.
What do you mean? I always
Shit,
want.
sorry.
I always want to hit AC0.
Yeah, it's-
True.
It's
Graham.
GURPS.
Zero is very good. You hit someone in plate mail with that.
sorry,
What-
what was that?
What's GURPS like
Graham.
again?
There's a one that you might enjoy as well. There's also Mistborn rule book.
Oh, I hadn't seen that. Like Mistborn's a really cool setting, like that whole like your powers come from being able to eat metal,
Neat.
and different metals do different things.
Ooh, that sounds like a chemistry person's favorite RPG.
So it's like this
yeah.
metal gives you super strength, and this metal lets you like hear real good,
Yeah.
and this metal lets you like make people's emotions bigger, and this one lets you make them smaller.
There's also one called Mouse Guard. I keep seeing that in like comic book shops and stuff.
Well, one I've got sitting here that I was reading is Ryutama, which is originally a Japanese role-playing game exploring a game world populated by seasonal dragons.
Hmm.
So the dragons are the ones that change the seasons, and that creates like adventures because your adventurers are followed by dragon people whose job it is to record stories of like parties
Oh.
that they think will be important
Cool.
to the world later.
That's nice.
We
So,
could all have a
For
round-
Andrew, sorry, I'm just going for Andrew. It's like all dragons all the time.
I mean, there is my brain's totally blanked on what it's called. The literal dragon campaign, which I've got somewhere.
Hmm.
Which is the
Yeah.
Dragonland?
no, it's like
A friend actually gifted me. Oh, it's a what? Sorry.
what did you say?
We've really been really bad for talking over each
Ah,
other today.
we do that.
Oh.
We do that anyway.
Should we do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 test?
No, the milliseconds look fine.
Yeah, no, I think it's fine. I think we're just actually trying to talk over.
Okay.
Like, it's not like D&D where there's a structured.
We're
It's
just
fine
more
for us to
enthusi-
talk.
We're just more enthusiastic than with normal D&D.
Yeah.
Okay, I do want to interject, and it's not a fatal thing, that if you get the vampire virus in Shadowrun as a koala, you become a drop bear.
Uh-huh.
You become a
Uh,
what?
Yeah.
A
Drop bear.
bear.
I feel like that's not how
I didn't even know.
vampirism works. Because that's a real thing.
It is now. If you're a koala and you get vampirism, you know what you're becoming. Drop bear.
What is that?
It's just another name for and I can't remember what they're essentially angry koalas.
Oh.
Well, don't you mean it's just like the Bill the koala from the Cushell advert?
Oh, it's like an urban legend thing. Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah.
of like deadly koalas
fair enough.
drop on you from above.
Well, I guess that makes sense within the world lore.
And
I will
I-
take your word on
an
it.
orc becomes
I
a
was actually
Wendigo.
gifted the. I was actually
Oh, yeah.
gifted. I was actually gifted the SCP Foundation RPG by a friend. It's like an actual book.
Oh, that sounds
What do
great.
you play
Also sounds horrible.
as- Now, what do you play as? An SCP or a member of Foundation staff?
You can
or-
be like, we've only ever played one session, but we were like staff essentially, and it would be like, okay, what kind of Lovecraftian horror do we have to face today?
That sounds like you just get murdered a lot.
Oh,
It
it's
sounds like
almost-
Call of Cthulhu, to be honest.
Yeah, but it has the chance of either being really, really hilariously silly or ultra sad and depressing.
I'm
or
So
I'm-
like Call of
like-
Cthulhu.
Yeah.
So like
But
Call of
yes.
Cthulhu, but with what's the game that's from? The thing that's from?
SCP. It's all SCP all the way down.
Sure.
on a mostly sense of like the tomatoes that attack you if you tell them a bad joke, which is an actual FCP.
I mean,
See, I'm not googling this SCP thing because I think you're all making it up, and I'm not willing to change that thought.
Oh,
about this
okay.
one
I
myself.
googled it. It's weird.
It's
It's
a
just a-
collaborative writing
yeah.
site. There's over
Yeah.
7,000
yeah,
articles now.
technically,
Yeah, it's
Graham, you're
just
not
I
wrong.
don't
People
believe
make
you.
up Eldritch horrors.
We are sort
I'm
of
just
making
gonna say
it
this.
up.
Because it's
I
fiction.
don't believe you, and I'm just gonna assume this is all a lie, because otherwise, I would lose more faith.
Lose all your faith.
In
Faith in what?
yeah, us or humanity.
Oh,
Ah,
Oh, there's a JoJo's RPG. Because of course.
Yes.
Bagsy, the guy with the bubbles.
He is a pretty strong one.
Bubbles are the most powerful weapon if anime has taught me nothing else.
I mean, which guy with the bubbles? There's two guys with bubbles.
The one from
One of them-
season, the one that died to like, and then like gave Jojo the thing that allowed him to like
Ah.
actually win.
He's all right, but you know, he's not-
Caesar.
Yeah, Caesar. He's all right. He's not the strongest person who uses bubbles because there's the guy later who has his stand power is bubbles.
Yeah,
And,
but Hamon bubbles are so much cooler than stand bubbles. Everyone knows that Hamon's the real power of JoJo.
Yeah, but stand bubbles are the actual strongest power in the entire series, except from the one that's like I can edit reality.
I hear weird words and I don't know what that means.
His special ability is he's beyond time and space and kills you.
Don't worry,
Okay.
Christian.
Infinite power.
You're not the only one.
Hey,
Also,
hey,
they can just
oh
remove
my God.
aspects of things like this thing has no friction or eyes or anything.
All my guy does is infuse bubbles with the power of breathing in light in order
True.
to beat up vampires.
That
all he-
is, and Pillar Men. Super
They're basically
steroid
vampires.
Steroid vampires. This is correct.
See, now that's a phrase I've not heard.
Pillar Men are just like in JoJo's. Technically, vampires aren't vampires in JoJo's. They're a weird thing, but they're just like dilute Pillar Men. Pillar Men are just a weird race of people from way back when that are like immortal, and yeah, they have weird powers, like the ability to control fire, but also the sun kills them.
They are also vampires, but they tell you they're not vampires, but they're definitely vampires.
They don't technically work like vampires. They don't need to eat. Their whole body is a mouth, is the way that works.
So like
they're
Morbius
just
in
like-
Spider-Man cartoon.
They just poke you, and that counts as them eating you.
I mean, that's convenient.
And all of them were killed in the 40s.
Oh yeah, Christian, wasn't there some German thing that you mentioned?
Oh yeah, there's it's basically similar to D&D in the way that it's just a relatively generic fantasy setting, called the Dark Eye. It also is D20 based, but has a slightly different approach. But yeah, it's slightly less wild than D&D in the way that I think they have playable races, just humans and elves and dwarves. That's it.
All the traditional fantasy tropes. None of the newfangled ones.
Exactly. And I'm not sure how the new editions are, to be honest, but the old editions were a bit clunky, because you had to, like, for each skill check, it was always like 3 rolls, and then you had to like fiddle around with your like skill points and stuff. It's not the best not the best mechanically, but they might have changed that by now.
But what's the lore like?
I played that over 20 years ago. It's just think of a standard fantasy setting. You will find like it's just medieval stuff.
Cool.
Whatever you can imagine, they probably have it somewhere.
Joseph, what campaign did you play 20 years ago?
Not existing.
Ooh, what's that one like?
It's pretty solid. But I don't remember the rules because I wasn't in existence at the time.
Who wants to play that?
I'll
What,
play
not
that.
existing? That seems like a bit of a harsh thing to do.
It's a hard one to play because you see, once you exist, like all of your, all of the stuff you're made of continues to exist even if you die and stuff. It's very hard to stop playing.
I like the idea of just
But do you know what?
everyone gets around and is like, did Andrew just ask us if we want to do a like murder-suicide pact? Sorry, go on,
I
Joe.
think it would involve convert
Go on,
entire
Christian.
body into like energy or something.
Shadowrun predicted the future very badly, because supposedly in 2009 King Charles is crowned, and already abdicates in 2012.
Well, that's not good.
And since when does Charles have a only surviving son, George the Seventh?
Ah, yes,
I don't
George the
think they have a
Seventh.
son called George.
Does
Do
he
they
have
have
a
a-
third son?
Not that I know of.
I don't believe
No,
he's the
that-
third son.
That I'm aware of.
When was Shadowrun's lore written?
The first one? I don't know.
So if he doesn't have that son, that was them being like, we're pretty sure he's gonna have another kid, and you'll definitely call them this.
Didn't get the end of that. Definitely call them what?
The idea being like, they're writing this and they're predicting, well, he's definitely gonna have another son, and when he has it, it's obviously gonna call them this.
Fair enough. Also, 2021, King George the Seventh is declared dead, but rumors persist that he was killed when he began changing into a troll.
Interesting.
Is this one of these ones where we
hypothesis.
could make an actual member of the royal family turn into a troll, just in case we get sued?
No, that's already happened. It's Prince Andrew.
Shame on him. Ruining my wonderful name.
Yeah, you have to change that now.
You gotta change your name because someone famous with your name did a bad thing. Change your name.
Fine, Adolf. That's not a bad name, right?
I mean,
How long do we need to wait before we
No.
can use Adolf again?
at least 30 years.
Longer.
A
Let's
very
just say
long time.
longer.
Well, maybe in the Shadowrun universe it's fine.
Approximately 600 million years is when I'll
Okay, are we allowed to call people
sure-
Judas yet?
I'm sure there's lots of people called Adolf.
Yeah, you can call people Judas. It's a bit mean, but you can.
What other names are and aren't allowed?
My dog is clinging to my arm. That's a bit weird.
It's
Yay, dog.
we. They've obviously
dog
got
really
something to
wants play
say.
the dog RPG. Hang on, let's search.
Oh,
I'm gonna
wait.
search up if there's a dog.
There
RPG.
is.
There has to be
No,
one.
Grim.
I mean, there are dog versions of D&D.
You know that there is because I showed you the minis when we were in Newcastle.
Oh yeah.
More the
Heckin'
D&D
good
minis.
doggos in RPG. Sounds perfect.
I mean, there's definitely a bunch of things based on D&D. Like Humblewood. Humblewood's great, but that's essentially just D&D, but you're animals. So yes, tell us of the heckin' good dog game.
Heckin' good.
It's
dog.
Pokemon, but you're only allowed to play as Mighty Enemy.
You play as a party of poor pals doing dog stuff in heckin' good doggos and a role-playing game. It's a family RPG about a bunch of dogs going on an adventure. Once at the beginning, players create their own dog characters, deciding what breed they are and stuff. Once players have created their dog, they need to determine what kind of person is their best friend.
This sounds amazing.
Whether they like feeds, walks, or play with, or cuddles and stuff. Whether they rely upon someone, or if their best friend actually has a negative impact on their life. Each best friend may also do their best to keep the doggo safe.
Okay,
Which could make going on adventures difficult and stuff.
I've changed my vote.
And then I have then I have a picture of here of hang on, I'll paste it in the chat. Of one of the things. What's that? I'll upload in a moment.
So what dog does
and-
everyone want? Oh my god, that's amazing! I want to play this campaign.
Yeah, so as far as I've gathered, is you have to pretend like you're a normal dog with an owner who's your best friend, and try and keep the fact that you're like a super-powered dog a secret.
There's
Hacking
Iron
Good
Dog, there's Super Dog, and there's Thing
Super-
Thing Dog. Also, maybe Flash
and
Dog.
Hulk Kitty.
Players choose to gain skills, performing roles, blah. If a player's dog interacts with someone who's disguised with them, that you can also have your owner be like a superhero, but you've got to keep your super identity a secret from your superhero owner, which is neat.
I mean, this sounds
Cats
amazing.
generally are the villains.
What is this?
Joseph, what's it called?
It's literally called Heckin' Good Doggos. That is the name.
I'm also now going to look this up. Oh no, I've just searched Heckin' Good Doggos. There's all these pictures of doggos. Oh, that one's been hit by a frisbee. I mean,
And Phoebe RPG.
it does sound amazing. I'm not hearing a lot of enthusiasm from everyone who's not me, but
It does sound cool. Christian's
Definitely
dog has
sounds silly.
recommended it, so you know.
I blame Fenrir. Okay.
You blame Benny.
yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna blame anyone, it might be. It might
But
as well be, you know,
surely-
the Norse dog that protects the tree of
Surely,
life.
surely you must congratulate your dog for bringing such an amazing choice to the table.
No, check if it's a super intelligent super dog.
Also,
I mean, to be
True.
fair, fittingly, he also wears a Marvel collar. So
Is your dog secretly a superhero that you don't know about and goes off to fight giant cats?
well, I can't really say yes to that.
the answer is always
Because I
going to
don't
be
know what it
maybe. Also, I'm sorry,
Oh.
I have to be that guy. Lawrence, Fenrir does not protect the Tree of Life.
And yeah, he's somewhere there.
But you know,
I do apologize for those
Classic.
people that know a lot more about this sort of thing than I do.
the heckin' good doggos are. Although technically, I guess you could just play that RPG inside of the Mutants and Masterminds RPG.
Oh. So, Mutants and Masterminds, can I be a dog?
I mean, there's gotta be a rule for letting you play super intelligent animals, right?
One would think so.
So, probably? The answer to that is probably.
I want to play as an animal
And-
shapeshifter. Actually, yeah, that makes sense.
want
Give them
to-
that power. By day, mild-mannered reporter. By night, doggo.
Super dog.
No, just a perfectly normal dog.
Perfectly normal dog. You don't fight crime, you just go into the back alleyway and chase cats around.
Well, no, like, my superpower is I can turn into a dog, but I'm still just a dog.
Oh, it's the best superpower compared to some of the other ones that I know you can have, like immortality and stuff.
Yeah, but immortality is not going to get you pets.
True. But you do have more time to get pets.
Also, I'm much more likely to be told I'm a good boy.
But
People
you are.
interested in hearing the blurb at the beginning for from the Shadowrun UK source. Well, technically it's a London source book, but it has some stuff on the UK about Newcastle.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'll
What is
listen to that.
Newcastle is the home of the Geordies. Their reputation, richly deserved, is a people who are none too smart, drink vast quantities of beer, talk at length about regurgitating it, have appalling dress sense, and worse regional accents, are intensely sexist, prone to fisticuffs, and yet are also fairly affable.
This
Honest
almost
and
sounds like
humorous.
this almost sounds like a description from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Ah,
mean-
there's got to be a
I mean,
RPG for that.
it sounds somewhat relatively incorrect.
Man, it'll be
At
like-
least, at least now, anyway.
It
We
seems like
also-
Newcastle's right next to the northern toxic zone, whatever that is.
No, it is the toxic zone.
No. It's just something approximating
It's-
Middlesbrough.
It's the reason the Scottish never bothered to invade England. They got here and said, "Man, is this what England's like? It sucks. Let's head back to."
Actually, the only time the Scottish invaded England, they got the bubonic plague
That's true. They did get the bubonic plague.
because they were
We
like,
had
"Oh
the
man,
plague."
England is weak because they're all dying of this disease sent by God. Let's go attack them." And then didn't realize that going and attacking a city full of people carrying the plague would carry the plague to your army.
Yeah, and then they went back to Scotland and spread the plague there.
If they hadn't attacked England while the plague was going on, Scotland would have entirely avoided getting the plague.
True.
Attack
But
the
they-
fire!
They,
Oh
they
no,
cho-
I'm on fire!
They chose to do the traditional Scottish maneuver of try and kill the English at all times.
And then died because of it.
And
Because-
then, yeah, really backfired.
Because the real point of all that story is that never leave Scotland. Nothing goes well when you leave Scotland.
No, nothing. That's true. That every single time the Scots have tried to leave Scotland to do things, it just never works out for them.
I mean,
Let's go
the-
establish colonies. No, it literally bankrupt our entire country. Sad.
I mean, it kind of went well when they went to set up Ireland.
I suppose.
I mean, we did eventually go over there and do horrible, horrible things, but
Yeah, that's the other point. Eventually, the English ruin everything. That's how it works.
How dare
I mean,
you.
we ruined it, but they successfully set things up by going over there.
Again, eventually the English ruin everything.
Yeah.
We'll get there eventually to ruin it.
Yeah. That's probably the one good thing that we're good at, ruining things.
That's true.
Hey, at least we're
That's
consistent.
that's Britain. Well, England's major export, just ruining the lives of everybody else
No.
because we feel like it.
England is that drunk, old man whose dad beat him, and so he beats all of his children and everyone weaker than him. It's exactly what it's like.
Wait, so who was England's
Yeah.
dad?
Oh, they were beaten up by the Vikings, obviously. You know.
The Vikings and the French. Sorry, the Normans.
No, the French is like our brother, who both of us resent each other because we both think Dad beat us slightly. We both think Dad beat the other one less or more.
Also, everyone
I
seems to
mean-
think that, ooh, Paris is so pretty.
I mean, the Vikings did invade sort of parts of northern France and stuff like
I
that.
mean, the
Yeah.
Vikings went wherever they felt like.
I mean, yeah, let's be real. The Vikings invaded most of Europe and some of America, and took everything they possibly could find. And
Yeah.
so all of Europe went, "Hey, that's a good strategy. Let's use that." But a few hundred years later.
I mean, it's the story of why the genetic makeup of of Iceland is 25% Scottish, is because all of the Vikings who settled the area were only men, so they went and raided one of the nearer places they could. So they raided Scotland for the women, and took them back with them to Iceland.
Because only mothers go to Iceland.
It's yes, yes. it's the Viking thing of like you show up, you take everything that's not nailed down, no matter what it is, and you leave.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
and then
Should be.
all of Europe went, "Hey, that's a good idea for growing an empire and a ton of wealth. Let's do that." But
But
with
let's
the
settle
rest
back.
of the entire world.
Let's set up a company in 500 years and do a very bad pun about it.
I'll be back in a second. I think my dog needs out.
I need.
Uh,
There's a crime going on, but I can't tell you.
Is it my sense of humour?
What crime are you doing, Andrew?
He's partaking in my sense of humour.
That doesn't seem criminal.
I mean, I made that joke before.
I mean,
I mean, I thought it was a pretty good timing.
I did just click on Vogon Poetry.
Why did you click on Vogon Poetry?
Because I was trying to find out if there was a Hitchhiker's
It's
Guide,
the universe's third worst type of poetry.
and shockingly, there doesn't actually seem to be a Hitchhiker's Guide RPG.
But there is a JoJo's one. Oh, we could all design JoJo's stands. It would be great.
My thing is the power of doing whatever the hell I want at a specific moment in time.
Actually, I've seen the stand summary one. I wonder if there's a. Unfortunately, you wouldn't have enough points to do that, unless it had some like incredible drawbacks.
I kind of
You
actually.
get 10 points.
I want you to now look into this. Knowing you'll probably never
Look
play
into
it, I want you to go to deep dive into how this game works.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I've been sitting here reading it most of this entire time we've been talking.
So how does that game
Uh,
actually work?
Hey.
What is the point of the game?
I mean, you know, you come up with a campaign. Probably the DM will create a villain who will typically have like more points than the players, or they'll have a few. Usually, the villain will have more points than the players. Sometimes they might have a similar amount, but have some other method of not fighting the players directly, or a very strong ability or something.
So
Usually their stand will evolve at some point to
You-
become stronger or capable of dealing with or getting away from the players.
So
Uh,
I would like to put forward an RPG from a better television show.
He-Man.
I don't know how you're gonna do that because I
The
don't
Red
know if-
Dwarf role-playing game.
Yes,
Oh,
let's
Oh
go.
my
right
fucking
now,
god,
please.
yes, god yes, god
Now,
fucking
I
yes.
do like Red Dwarf.
That was one of my favourite shows of all time. I watched it as a kid.
How does that
constantly.
game
Okay,
even
I'm
work?
listening.
Yeah, I'm like, do you just sit around in space drinking booze?
I don't know because I can't find the rules. The issue is the copies I can find to buy of this role-playing game cost you 246 quid from Amazon because it's been out of print for many years.
Ooh, it's the JoJo's one is a 3d6 system. Interesting.
But the RPG Net review of the Red Dwarf thing seems to be very positive.
Isn't like the way you play it is much like the continuity of Red Dwarf, where even if you die in one session, you just continue it next time with like.
No,
Yeah,
I
that.
assume it's a bit like the VR game that they play.
So you can play. So character creation, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 types of character you can
Wax
play.
droids are a race, aren't they?
You can play evolved pets, gelfs, humans, holograms, mechanoids, a simulant, or a wax droid.
The Wax
Where are we
droid
at
one.
now?
The Red Dwarf role-playing game.
Red Dwarf role-playing game, and I'm still
Ah.
reading the JoJo's one.
The
'cause,
Wax
you know,
droids can be a lot of fun because you can basically just be like historical figures or
but
whatever.
you melt in the sun.
Everyone got very excited,
They'll be
Christian, when the Red Dwarf RPG was mentioned. Yet no one knows what the game actually contains.
And ooh, if you haven't
If it-
been,
From what I've read, it's
20.
played as like, you know, funny, silly space adventures, getting into hijinks and everything, much like the original show.
Oh damn, that's a really cool way of separating stands from people. stands use D20 rolls, people use D6 rolls. Interesting.
Oh, that is good.
Creating adventures, it's like 4.
I'm 100% expecting you to go away, learn this enough that you could DM it, and then make a character for everyone and then force us to run JoJo's so that you could be like, see, it was fun, and then we'll all have to play JoJo's.
I'm definitely gonna deep dive into this. But, you know, I'm currently on page 14 of this book, having skimmed through all of it already.
So yeah, what I'm hearing is that eventually you're going to come back with here's a character, everybody, let's play JoJo's.
Oh,
I've made you all stands.
I wouldn't do that because I'd want you to pick your own music and stuff that you like to base your stand off and things.
Well, I was about to say, I was partially expecting you to be like, here's all of your stands. I've deep dived on your of what I think of your personality, and therefore this is why your stand works this way. And we're all like, wait, this is what you think of me?
Oh, wait a
If
minute.
that's what you want, that could happen.
Joseph, I can be a dog, right?
Hmm. You can be a dog. There are dog
Yes.
There is a dog stand user
Yeah,
in the show.
That's what
It
You
is the
can
most annoying
actually be a
character,
dog.
yes.
I'm trying to combine all of these things together.
You can be a dog
hate
who has
that
a
dog.
stand.
So Christian, what crime did Fenrir have to stop? Or did he not tell you?
There are sticks lying around in the garden, so I'm just messing around with you and actually don't have to do anything crime.
Oh, you build up momentum and
Yep,
stuff.
that is how dogs be.
No, secretly they were signaling to space.
Oh my god, you can try bragging or panicking to change the momentum of a fight. That's hilarious.
I 100% think you are going to get so far into the rules of this that you will want us to play this.
Probably.
And I'm going to say, I'm not going to object if you like make us play it, but I will need you to have dived enough to explain everything with how it works.
Oh, I will be able
Just like the anime, I would expect you to make me not read anything. You would
Don't
want
worry.
me to, but I would not.
Oh, and you can even use there's even like things you can do when you're on specific momentums. Oh, that's cool. Like reveal people's secrets or to like figure out their weaknesses and stuff. That's neat. I like this.
So would the JoJo's one essentially just be like the monster of the week type thing, outside of a big villain?
I mean, you'd have a big. I mean, you could structure a campaign however you wanted to.
True. Yeah.
I mean, generally, you know, fighting other stand users or Hamon users is probably is the most like interesting thing about that.
Oh, sweet. Speaking of JoJo's, the new episode of Jeff Bizarre Adventure has come out. Sweet.
What's that?
Which is the JoJo Bizarre Adventure watch along thing where they make people where some anime YouTubers and some people from Giant Bomb make people who've not watched anime before watch JoJo as their first anime.
Oh yeah, I think you've mentioned that to me before.
It's very, very fun. And it's funny. It's funny watching people mentally break from having to experience JoJo as their first time, like watching anime, where they're like start off not understanding anything, and by like season 2, they're beginning to enjoy it. And now that we're in season 3, they're like completely broken in Stockholm syndrome into this stuff.
I mean, part 1's not that weird compared to the rest of the show.
Yes, but if you've watched part 1 having never watched anime before,
True.
it's possibly the weirdest media you will ever have seen.
This is accurate, and then
I will remind you that part 1 does have Jack the Ripper being this weird minor character who turns into a vampire.
and he hides in a horse. Yes, I
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah.
I remember.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
worry. I wouldn't have forgotten this. He hides inside a horse to ambush the main character. Because of course, why not?
Would the JoJo RPG fights just be us trying to come up with like
Bullshit reasons why
weird-
your stand beats your opponent's stand.
Oh, that is genuinely incorporated into the
weird
fight because
strategies?
you you have abilities that you have like 10 points to build your stand with, roughly. And your stand can just be like really physically powerful but have basically no weird abilities, or it can just be like a really powerful ability but not
I
even be
mean-
able to manifest the
I mean,
stand.
more like the tactics where the fight
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna throw this piece of broken pavement at you. Aha, you missed. Yes, but my stand ability allows me to put things back together. So when I threw it, I activated my power, causing it to come back and hit you.
But
When
Yeah,
I
exactly.
It's way to
counteracted
beat
that.
That's
play. Yeah, basically that.
Yeah, exactly. That does occur because of the momentum mechanic, which is like, your character goes and tries to do that. You roll. Let's say you failed,
So it's
because
basically like,
let's say your opponent's been like beating you this whole time.
so it's
They have
bas-
like a slight momentum bonus. So like when you try and do that, their ability, they can come up with a bullshit reason why they can block it and stuff.
Yes, but as I was about to get hit, I saw a pigeon flying by and was about to take a crap, so I used my stand's gravity ability to fling the poo in your eye to make you just miss me.
Exactly. That type of shit would occur.
Yes.
That's
Not so fast, because my stand, which allows me to manipulate plant matter, grew the seeds from the pigeon shit that hit my eye into a tree, which I can use to fire at you like a missile.
And I am a
that's
dog.
exactly how these fights work. You are.
And this guy's a dog. Don't hurt him. He's a dog.
I mean, yeah, but
Unless
he's
you've
got
watched
to fight-
JoJo, then
he's-
oh dear.
he's got to fight a pigeon whose stand ability can create ice.
What's your dog's stand ability? What? No, it's just that he's a
Stand.
dog.
He is just a
Actually,
dog.
an old college, an old college friend of mine came up with like a stand determining system, where because they're all named after different songs, you have to get a playlist of random songs up on YouTube, and whatever song name you get, that's your stand, and you have to come up with a power from it.
You can even have your big anime moment. By resetting your momentum to 0, you can gain a plus 10 to the next result. Which effectively means you can't lose.
For years, my fan stand was Eminem. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Oh yeah, he has a random fun thing talking of music. Guess what one song was the song that got the drawing stream I did the other day put to cannot be viewed anywhere on Earth?
What?
I have no chance to guess this because of how many different songs exist in the world, so could you please just tell us?
It is a song from over 10 years ago from one of the Scooby-Doo movies. Warner Brothers.
I mean, I watched those over Christmas, but I can't remember what songs were on it. Was it the Scooby-Doo song?
No, it was the Zombie Island.
Sure.
Oh, that's my favorite Scooby-Doo movie.
Is it a Scooby-Doo RPG?
Oh, there must
Probably.
be.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
So
everyone.
something from the Scooby-Doo Zombie Island movie got your thing.
Yeah, like I
Blocked.
I was listening to so much random shit while I was drawing, but if the one thing that YouTube was angry about, or rather Warner Brothers was angry, how dare you listen to technically a remix of this song? I just love how it's like
Yeah,
banned
how dare you,
everywhere on
Andrew.
Earth. Okay, Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure why my videos got banned everywhere on Earth, but the video I was listening to the song on hasn't. Oh, YouTube.
YouTube and Warner Brothers are fun like that.
It's the combat rounds are 6 seconds. Interesting.
Now, is that each round in game is 6 seconds, or is that in real life the 6 seconds?
You only have 6 seconds.
In game there's 6 seconds, but it's JoJo's 6 seconds, so you know.
So 3 weeks.
This is true. What's defined as 6 seconds is in some serious quotation marks there. Oh, and there's things for like stands, general things that they can just do. That's neat. All your abilities have to have like ranges and stuff that you spend points to increase.
And me and Lawrence will be fighting for the worst possible build.
I mean, you could genuinely make like just a stand that has no physical manifestation but has an incredibly powerful ability. Like it doesn't do, you can't. It's pathetic. It's weak. It literally doesn't exist, but it gives you a weird power.
Why would me and you be fighting for the worst possible build, Andrew?
I don't know. You like making weird builds, and I apparently just want to be a dog.
If you take an E in your stand rank, you actually gain a point an extra point that you can spend on other things, which seems neat. You could have a stand with like no power whatsoever. It barely exists. It's incredibly pathetic, but its ability is like instantly kills anyone within 2 meters of you.
Sounds pretty good. How do you counteract that? I guess range.
Be 3 meters away from them.
Oh no, he's walking towards
And,
me.
like, and throw a stone at them very hard or something. I don't know. Have a stand that has at least not a D in range, and can hurt things. You could send them out because their stand is too weak to defend them. Your stand would be able to just kick their ass from 3 meters away.
So, as a good summary, I think we could summarize there are quite a lot of things. No one has any sort of consensus, but Joseph wants the JoJo one.
Nobody really knows, but all we do know is Joseph wants the one that he's most excited about.
Alternative damage paper cuts. Yes.
Again, in game or out of game?
Yes. Man, that's a power scaling system. Alternative damage, paper cuts, unarmed attacks, attack with weapons, dramatic events like car crashes, building collapses, and then like 8 point-blank explosions struck by thunder. Amazing.
Can people tell me what else we talked about, so we can maybe have a little emoji poll?
So there's been.
I have Pathfinder, Shadowrun, Mutants and Masterminds, and Vampire the Masquerade at the moment.
Call of Cthulhu was mentioned once or twice.
If I know how to write that.
People seemed interesting in me working out more about how that Blades in the Dark game worked as like a couple of random shots, but that doesn't seem like it needs to be on a poll.
Willpower and determination.
What about heckin' good doggos?
True.
My Little Pony.
Oh, you have the ability to like pass down goals and power and stuff. You can literally do the Caesar thing, Graham.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
What was the heckin' one?
Heckin' good doggos.
I just want you to keep
Red
putting
Dwarf
more.
RPG.
I want to see what other pictures you'll put.
What emojis I put
Yeah.
in there? What else was there?
Red Dwarf RPG.
Who's buying it?
Not me.
Well, let's think. It's about £250, and there's 6 of us, so we can reasonably.
There's also this new system that I've heard of called D&D. Anyone?
I mean, I wouldn't put it on any list. No, it seems pretty bad.
There was the SCP one, but I'm not sure if anyone else would really. There's also Mouse Guard.
Ooh, what's Mouse Guard?
It's one of those sorry, RPG. Yeah, I've got a cough. If anybody didn't know, it's just one of those RPGs I keep seeing everywhere but never get into. You'll basically play as like warrior mice, like mice with little swords. I think.
I mean,
That's cute.
yeah, that sounds great.
It has a nice art style.
Instantly makes me think of what is it? Thingy Heroes in Name, Secrets in Name. That's it, Secrets.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be an amazing RPG, like D&D concept for a campaign. You're just playing as Secret in Name. That'd be great.
Which one? One or two? One of the options was much darker than the other.
I mean, oh yeah, the second one was just terrifying.
I mean, just looking at the list. Oh my God, Shadowrun 6th edition. Just looking down the list, there's definitely a lot of different options.
I mean, technically, there's also, since we introduced Vampire the Masquerade, there's a few other World of Darkness options, but...
True.
What are they?
And of
What's
course
that
there's
mean?
The JoJo's one, which no
Well, there's
one but me
the
would
same
care
world, but different central creatures.
Werewolf
like
the
there's
Apocalypse,
Ah,
like
right.
Mage the Ascension. Wraith
Hunter the
Oblivion.
Requiem,
We could play
Yeah.
Monopoly.
We could
and
play Monopoly.
Changeling something or other.
Yeah,
Also,
Changing to
I have-
Dreaming.
I have a question, Andrew. How do you DM chess?
Hey,
From
you're the
that
one
area.
who's DMing it, not me.
People try to make moves, and you say yes, you're allowed, or no, you're not allowed.
I just determined the rules of chess.
But
Yeah, so effectively, I try and do something illegal, and then you're like, it's not legal, but I like your gumption. Roll to allow that to happen.
And you go like, my peasant went to night school for about one semester, so he's allowed that night move once.
he's squire to that night.
I
Yeah.
wish I'd
There's
shared
gonna be like
the picture I found earlier, which was a
there's gonna be this proper
Go on.
there's gonna be this proper dramatic roleplay interaction between like two soldiers on other sides who were like childhood friends having this really dramatic moment, and then it cuts to the board and it's just like two pawns just looking at each other, just like facing the same direction. Just make your fucking move. All right, I move me knight. And then you get into the knight's tragic backstory.
Joseph, your queen went past my pawn. Shouldn't I get an attack of opportunity?
I mean, depends if the pawns move 2 spaces forwards or not.
Has the queen trained that ability, or has she focused on like cheese making or some other skill?
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
cheese
Also,
making.
I mean,
yes,
cheese
also-
making is the strongest skill in chess, of course.
Also, my king in his backstory is depressed and suicidal. Do I just lose, or like?
No. What happens is, you tribute your king at the start of the game, and your queen becomes your king. But if the queen is ever threatened, she immediately loses all of her power, and you lose the game.
Is my pawn making it to the end of the board and becoming a queen count as like them like?
No,
being
then a
transition?
third faction emerges, but on the other side of the board, it becomes random and it's like a brand new rebellious faction. They'll just kill the nearest pieces to them, or they'll try to. It's usually your opponent, but sometimes it's not.
Say Monopoly's our best chance for an RPG.
God, I imagine that
But
being
which
horrible.
one? Naruto Monopoly or? Uh, oh, we're already off the races. We have Andrew voting for Call of Cthulhu, Pathfinder 2e, and also Mutants and Masterminds.
And there's one there you didn't mention.
Oh, did no, that's Christian's. Oh, and also Fatal.
Thank you. Oh.
I don't know where some of these emojis are.
Which one are you looking for? I can tell you what to write.
The horns with the I can do this one, but I don't know
Oh,
where the
metal.
one.
Just look for metal.
Oh.
Graham, if you hover over the emoji you're trying to figure out, click on it,
Oh yeah.
and then copy paste the thing it says into the reactions search bar. And it should bring it up.
Wait a minute. Why have I not clicked that one yet?
Thank you.
Oh, the heckin' doggos. True. I'll also do
Oh,
the heckin'
we're up to
doggos.
3.
Where's the JoJo's one?
How do I minus something before it appears?
Where's the JoJo's one? So it can have one vote and then everyone else gives it a -1. That's the
If
way
you-
it should
I
be.
mean, if you put the George's one in, I'll probably vote for it because it sounds quite interesting.
Yeah, I would definitely play it so long as Joseph did all of the work.
I'm prepared to do all
I mean,
of the work.
that's what I've said. Like, if he's willing to do the work, I'm willing to.
Give it a try.
Man dancing.
This is my comment. If someone else is willing to explain to me how this actually works in a succinct manner, I will try anything.
Where's the JoJo's one?
Yes.
Man dancing. Yes. Perfect. Gotta just get that reaction gift.
How
Yes. There we go.
how do I?
There you go.
Immediately up to 4.
I'm gonna unclick it because it seems like too many.
How do I get
No,
rid of his
Get it up to
reaction?
4. How do you delete it?
I can remove all,
Oh.
but that doesn't help. It says delete message, but I'm afraid that deletes the whole thing.
Just leave it. You love it. It's great.
So far,
Uh,
multiple people want to do multiple things.
yeah. So far, what we have is Vampire the Masquerade and Pathfinder 2e are currently the most. And also Heckin' Cute Doggos is now equal with
And
those
Call
two.
of Cthulhu,
And
and
also
Mutants and Masterminds,
Mutants and Masterminds and Call of Cthulhu. Yeah. Just...
and JoJo.
God damn
and
it!
JoJo is also at 4.
Because it's so
I
decisive.
feel like Graham did that just to annoy you.
I agree. Lawrence, unclick the JoJo's one. You're my only hope.
Lawrence, don't do it. Oh, all the numbers are ticking up.
So what it's looking to me like is that we're basically mostly okay with running anything.
Anything
Yeah,
that
even-
isn't
even the
fatal.
Yeah, even the other contenders of Mistborn and Shadowrun. I'll throw in one for Shadowrun actually. Just the-
But anyone
Anyone else want to click Mistborn to get that one up? Come on, just to get us into almost everything.
anyone at all want to click fatal? Anyone?
Oh, Lawrence are betting. Oh no, it was Graham. Graham was there for a second.
There, everything gets a 4 except for fatal.
Hey, I've made a character for Fatal already, so mostly so.
I think I'd rather
So
spend the
what
I'd rather spend the night with like Donald Trump than play Fatal.
So I have
what we've found out is yes, it's anything.
Other than Fatal.
Christian, are you pleased that you've made this poll?
was this poll, did this poll work out how you expected, or
Who would DM for what? I DM for the JoJo's.
Oh, wait a minute. We forgot one. Let me just add it. And now I need to find the perfect emoji, which will take me half an hour.
I'd be willing. I think I could be talked into being DM for either the Pathfinder or the Vampire.
I know a lot about Mistborn, so I'd be like happy to try and DM that if that's the thing people wanted to play.
Okay, explain Mistborn
Like
again.
I'll have to work out how the act like the issues. I don't know the system because I didn't know it was an RPG till today, but I could try it. Like if we're gonna do it, I could try and find it and work it out.
So the Mistborn setting is basically it's a what level of
Like a post-apocalyptic fantasy setting where the bad guy won.
kind of, yeah, and it's like development wise it's kind of like just before Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
Probably. What is that? Is it Renaissance? I don't know.
And
Yeah.
would you be willing to DM heckin' cute doggos?
No, I want to
No, he
be the
wants to be a
doggo.
heckin' cute doggo.
Joseph, it makes sense to answer just in the same thingy.
Sure.
So, chess.
Okay.
I'll
Sure.
add chess.
Andrew should DM chess. I agree.
And
Andrew,
basically
wanna-
there is magic that is based on people's ability to burn metals, which gives them different abilities, or to another opportunity. A thing is to store physical or mental attributes. Like for example, the best one is weight. Not the best one, but one of the ones that you can store is like weight. So you can make yourself lighter and store your weight in a metal container, basically, and then later retrieve all of that weight and make yourselves like 15 times heavier than you were before, and stuff like that. So it's quite random.
And it's interesting. So it's like you can, and like the weird application of all of these different things you can do is kind of where it becomes super interesting in the book series.
Question: If
And I
everyone only
cannot-
had one
I cannot
vote, what
recommend
would
the
you
whole Cosmere stuff.
So
Almost Sanderson.
I've read some. I've only read the Mistborn stuff, and then I've read like a couple of other Cosmere books, but I've not read the whole thing because it seems like a commitment.
I'm
I
up
say
to
that
date.
as I would say that as I say that as someone who's read a 15-book series, but like to try and keep up with that. So like it shouldn't be that much more of a commitment, but I just can't like.
But it is though, because it's not only one world, so you get kind of like, and it interconnects, and it's weird. But it's
But
good
yeah.
weird.
But Mistborn is the first one, and like pretty fun as a setting goes.
The first one? No, I don't think so.
I thought it was the first one he did.
I
That
think
was like
Elantris
it
was the first
Ah,
that he
'cause I've-
published.
because I've read Atlantis as well, and it's definitely not as good.
That would support the whole first one.
Yeah, it would make sense. But I read it, the Mistborn was the one I read first,
Yeah,
and I think it was was what I was trying to get at, and I think it's a really solid setting.
it's definitely one of the bigger series that he has within the Cosmere thingy.
Yeah.
So there's 7 Mistpoint books at the moment.
hmm I think I've only read 5 of them, just because I haven't been as active reading recently.
Yeah, I just finished The Lost Metal.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that he had the whole Kickstarter thing with the 4 books that he read over lockdown?
No.
Wrote. He
No,
wrote
I
4
didn't.
books over lockdown and did a Kickstarter for that, and it exploded. And he got, instead of the, I think he wanted 1 million, he got 40, and yeah, it's a good book. The first one. He's like you get them like every 3 months now this year. If you
That man
on a
writes
big
too many
explosion.
books.
Hmm?
That man can write too many books.
He can, yeah.
It's the whole like I was listening to a thing talking about how like so he finished Robert Jordan's books and like he's definitely going to end up finishing Game of Thrones. Let's be honest. He's just the guy you bring on to like finish stuff because he's got a great track record and get shit done.
Yeah, but I don't think he can be bothered for Game of Thrones though.
I suppose it was Wheel of Time was his like favorite novels of all time, and he did
Was
get-
this Brandon Sanderson you're talking about?
yeah,
Yeah.
and he did get
Are
start.
his writing lectures any good? like,
I've not
is he-
read like they're interesting. I don't think they're a guide on how you should write. They're a guide on how he writes
Okay.
because they're like quite specific
Yeah.
in a lot of cases.
It's like the best advice I've ever heard from like what most people say is to just read a lot and write a lot, and eventually you'll learn. Essentially, that's like the most
I mean, yeah, the
common I've heard.
the most common thing is to just like write something every day. Doesn't have to be a lot. Doesn't
Yeah.
have to be anything specific. Just write something, and it becomes more and
As
more
with
natural.
most things, practice makes perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So overall, even though we've not come to any consensus, and this campaign probably has still got 6,000 years left in it because the party constantly thinks of something new to do, or you're all going to die very soon. Good first episode. What's next?
I find it interesting that we haven't got one thing with 5.
Yeah,
Or even
no
six.
one is at a complete consensus on anything.
Graham doesn't want to play Call of Cthulhu.
Right?
Get chess up to 4.
Get chess up to 6.
Oh, sorry. I wouldn't mind playing Call of Cthulhu. It just wasn't on my like upper list of things.
Chess
That's
is at
fair.
4. Beautiful.
Also, I don't want to collect something to put it above 4 because it's so like everything looks so good at the moment.
Everything looks so good at 4. Precisely.
Now we just have to make Fate
Unless
up
all
to
the people-
4.
Unless all the people that didn't want to collect the other things that they haven't clicked, all collect those to put them up to 5. Then I'll collect all the things to put them up to 5.
Or everyone could click fatal.
Everyone could click fail.
You know, for that begging, Andrew, I unclick fatal.
No. Oh, so
I humoured you, but now you've went too far.
how dare you beg? So what's next year's podcast gonna be about? Because we'll probably get like one a year.
How I should really improve my very shit sense of humor.
Wait, guys, none of us. How come none of us thought of this? We could take up LARPing.
No.
Oh,
I know 2 people that do LARPing.
we could go full Don Quixote and just come knights and shit in real life.
Yeah, we could just.
There are
become-
apparently people who do LARPing like I play D&D.
Hmm.
And I did like.
If we, I'm just imagining the most fucking cringy, like, dressing up and LARPing around Newcastle, pretending to be fantasy people stuck in the modern world. Like, how fast would we get beaten up?
Very lightning bolt.
No,
We
no,
just
no.
fucking beanbags it like a bunch of people making fun of us. Jesus.
If anyone started trouble with us, I'd kick them off.
I feel like we shouldn't do LARPing.
Let's get it up to 4 anyway.
The image is just hilarious to me.
Ah. Christmas parrot. I think that's a good place to end this. Does anyone have any closing remarks?
Yeah,
Remember to like and
No,
subscribe.
that's not.
There are
Yeah,
way
we-
more.
Play the joke.
Who's
Get
gonna
ready for
dress
the
up as
JoJo's
Gandalf?
RPG.
I would like to say there are way more like RPGs that people would actually be interested in playing in than I expected when we first started this chat.
Yeah, we've actually come up with
To be
some
fair,
interesting options.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't really looked into other RPGs other than the ones that I've kind of played at least once before.
It's also nice that between us as a group, we generally, still regardless of system, seem to be fine with whatever.
Sure.
Because that's one of the things you tend to see a lot online of, oh, changing systems and then everyone breaks up. Would still be just doing stupid RP and things.
In the end, it just means we enjoy each other's company when playing role-playing games.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
House RP.
best of friends.
Yay!
What's a friend?
So it is the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic RPG we agreed to play then.
I don't know, after the last thing you guys did interacting with friendship, I don't think something focused on friendship's a good idea.
Hack and Cute Doggos is a great friendship RPG though.
Yeah, so I guess like tune.
Surely Call of Cthulhu is the greatest friendship at.
What, sorry?
Call of Cthulhu is the greatest friendship one because you have to have friendship to survive all of the horrors of the universe.
Or can friendship kill Cthulhu?
With your best friends.
No, but it can stop us from going mad before it kills us.
That's if you can surviving your creating your character.
Of course, friendship can kill Cthulhu. You just have to be friends with the right Eldritch Horrors.
I mean, didn't the Ghostbusters kill Cthulhu in the cartoon?
Probably.
Pretty sure that was like the first episode.
I know Scooby-Doo canonically has killed Satan.
That doesn't
Scooby-Doo,
sound outlandish though. Like all the things of Ghostbusters have killed Cthulhu, you'd be like, yeah, but Scooby-Doo's beat Satan. Yeah, I can see that. Oh.
Straight up stabbed him with a spear. Like, it was brutal.
So I guess we'll end this with join us next week, or rather join just me and Joseph next week as he goes on and on and on about the JoJo's RPG that he spent a week looking into.
Why won't anybody else be there?
No, I'm just saying I can imagine that it's just Joseph talking to me for 2 hours straight.
Oh.
Because it's like, no,
I can imagine.
I've looked into the rules. I know how it works.
I mean, you're not...
Ugh. I do love that I know that you're